Hey guys, MoiDawg here, and today we have an enormous update from Post Script. Okay, well actually, I guess we shouldn't be calling it that anymore, since from today on, Post Scriptum has officially rebranded as Squad 44. I've been chatting with both Offworld Industries and Mercury Arts behind the scenes for the past few months now about all the plans behind Post Scriptum, including today's official rebranding to Squad 44, and all I can say is, man, it feels so good to finally be able to talk to you guys about all this. There's even a video behind the history of what happened with Post Scriptum that I haven't been able to post yet because of the rebrand, so, it's just like a weight off my shoulders, and I cannot wait to see where this takes us. Last we heard about Post Scriptum was from the official announcement by Offworld Industries that they had legally purchased the IP and were beginning to formally work on reviving the game. Since then, many people have reinstalled or even purchased the game for the first time. Servers have been not only coming back online, but have been getting extremely populated. And we even saw a peak player count of over 1,400 concurrent players. This is the most people playing Post Scriptum since December of 2021. From a game that was averaging less than 100 concurrent players at any one time before this, that is extremely impressive. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if it's all talk and no updates. For all intents and purposes, we've been playing the same exact game that's been available for the past year. And most of y'all have probably jumped in, got reacquainted with how the game works, and are more than likely waiting to see what happens next before claiming that Offworld Industries has saved the tactical World War II gaming niche. And you know what? That's a completely reasonable take. Well, as part of their first update to the game, Offworld Industries has officially taken Post Scriptum under Squad's branding with Squad 44. I know there may be some OGs out there that may get a bit frustrated at this renaming decision, but Squad is a wildly successful brand when compared to Post Scriptum. They've been out of early access for years now and have continued pumping out regular content, with even the Turkish land forces being added to the game just 2 days ago in their V7.0 update. But more importantly, all of these players are familiar with the Squad brand, so seeing something like Squad 44 is much easier to understand and set your expectations for when compared to Post Scriptum. Now, there's also a version of this rebrand logo which includes the words letters from the front, which was also the Post Scriptum's full name, Post Scriptum letters from the front, but I really don't know if that will stick. When added to the overall Squad 44 brand, Squad 44 letters from the front does feel a little bit out of place now, but I guess we'll just have to see what happens in the future. But Squad 44 also lays out pretty directly the content you should expect to see in game. 1944 was the year that Operation Market Garden was conducted, which was the original intent for the game. 1944 was also the year of the Normandy landings, which we already have, but 1944 also has a couple interesting battles that may sneak themselves into the game in the future. Now, I want to be very clear. I don't know if what I'm about to say is happening. I'm going off on my own tinfoil hat theory, so if it doesn't happen, don't come at me with the pitchforks. I'm just nerding out about a World War II game since I grew up with Call of Duty, Medal of Honor, Red Orchestra, and Battlefield 1942. So now that I've said that, there are two additional battles that happened in 1944 that really jump out to me. First is the Battle of Peleliu, which took place in the Pacific Theater in November 1944. This might be a stretch since it would require both a Marine Corps faction and a brand new Japanese faction, but the Pacific is something World War II gamers have been asking for ages. And the last real Pacific game that we got was Battlefield 5, and we all know how that one went. Honorable mention to Rising Storm 2, which was also really good, but it's not as popular as a Battlefield game. Anyways, Post Scriptum, or Squad 44, already has landing ship mechanics on the Normandy invasion maps, so tweaking that a bit to give a proper Peleliu landing map wouldn't be that crazy of an idea. It would be a lot of work, but we also saw OWI recently enter the Pacific Front in Squad, so I wouldn't be too surprised if we actually get an official announcement about this in the next couple years. Now, the second battle that jumped out to me was the Battle of Narva 1944. Yes, this is the same Narva which we play in Squad, and hey, you know, Squad 44, same but different. Yeah, okay, I know this one is also a stretch, but it would be absolutely awesome to play a 1944 version of Narva with the Germans and Soviets, and then be able to swap on over to Squad and play the modern map. OWI has even modeled most of the weapons we would play as the Soviets anyway, with the Mosin Nagant and PPSH available as insurgents. To me, this feels a bit more of what a game would do if it were a franchise, so although this may be a long shot, I'm really crossing my fingers for the Soviet edition of Narva 44. Now, I did just use the word franchise, and I do think this rebranding is going to help shift Squad into becoming a franchise and not just a game. With Squad and now Squad 44, what's there to stop them from making Squad 2 with destructible environments, or even Squad 69 and we get into some Vietnam era stuff now that Burning Lands has absolutely imploded and the Squad Vietnam mod has been eerily silent? Once again, I'm just spitballing here, but I do think this is a really good move for the future of Squad, Squad 44, and Offworld Industries. Although I do have to admit the actual words Squad 44 will take some getting used to. Ultimately though, what this does is build confidence that OWI will not want to screw this up. Squad is their baby. It's one of, if not the best large-scale tactical FPS games on the market, and the last thing they like to see is a game that has the same exact Squad brand and have it absolutely flop. That should give you a lot of confidence. But aside from just this rebranding, Squad 44 is officially dropping the new Greek faction and the new map Rethymno, which is an enormous 4x4 kilometer map with day and night layers, which you can play in both random advanced and secure and offensive game modes. What's been playing on screen here is the original modded map version of Rethymno that Mercury Arts created prior to the acquisition for the Chapter Mercury mod, but I also was recently given some high quality images of what we will actually be able to play. It's an incredibly detailed map with some really good points of interest and objectives, and I for one am incredibly excited to play in a theater that most of us have probably never even heard of before. Also, I would like to quickly point out how interesting it is that within the same week, Offworld Industries has released a Turkish faction in one game and a Greek faction in the other. I know this is just a coincidence, but it's actually kind of crazy when you think about it given the history of those two nations. But anyways, moving on to the content, we'll get the 4 new rifles, 2 new pistols, an Italian light mortar, and as a whole, this faction and map should make for a nice break from either the beaches of Normandy or the fields of the Netherlands that we've been usually playing in. In addition to the content drop, there will also be a few bug fixes and accessibility features as well. For example, players can now see all friendly rallies, not just their squads, which should help overall team cohesion when attacking or defending objectives. And apparently, this will also stop friendlies from destroying their own friendly rallies, since you can now tell if it's your friends. Yeah, I didn't even know that this was a thing, but apparently you couldn't tell whose rally was whose because you didn't see them on the map. So a friendly squad could actually go up to another friendly's rally, destroy it with explosives, and move on thinking that they just helped the team. I'm really glad OWI is working on this game now. We just need a good studio, please. There's also going to be a decent performance and optimization pass in this update too. When talking with OWI and Mercury Arts last month, I was told that a lot of work was spent on the game's optimization since many textures or assets were just way too visually expensive to be in a game, and this should really improve people's FPS. Fingers crossed, but the early images I saw, but unfortunately can't show y'all here, were extremely promising and made the game both look better and run better. So do let me know if this update is working better for you. In these talks, I was also reminded that Malami is in the game too, and although this isn't new content, it may be better phrased as lost content, since this was actually released as one of the last content drops before the entire studio shut down. This is another map set in Crete with the German Fallschirmjägers and the Anzacs, specifically allowing you to play as the 2nd New Zealand Division. So if you do want more maps that have the same feel of the new Rethymno one, do make sure to put Malami in the rotation as well. But that's about it. I, for one, am still cautiously optimistic about Squad 44. To me, coming under the Squad branding makes the game much more important for the studio as a whole, and I do believe the devs when they say they're going to be putting a lot of work into this game over the next year and beyond. But what do you guys think? Is this the light at the end of the tunnel you were waiting for when the devs shut the studio down last year? Are you excited to finally check out some of the new content for Squad 44? Or are you maybe still waiting to see how it all plays out? Let me know in the comments down below, and if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. But that's it for me. Until next time, peace.